was written and directed by Nancy Meyers. First of all, I have just recently watched this movie for the first time, and it was adorable and really fantastically done. I highly recommend watching this movie if you haven't already. It presents a compelling concept about success and teaches viewers about the humility required when starting a new business, as well as the real-life struggles that startup companies face. The movie is well written and has an underlying idea that is quite endearing, encompassing a wide range of themes that I have learned about in my industrial organization course over the semester. The film, The Intern, features Robert De Niro as Ben Whittaker, a retired widowed 70-year-old man who is seeking a sense of belongingness in his lonely adventure in retirement. He had attempted to do everything of leisure, such as traveling and yoga in the park, but still he has a longingness to do something more with his time. He had an urge to keep his mind sharp during retirement. The story revolves around Jules Austin, played by Anne Hathaway, a CEO who has just launched a successful online clothing store called About the Fit that is rapidly expanding. Initially, Jules is portrayed as a chaotic and disorganized with numerous distractions vying for her attention. She knows rigorous work ethic and is extremely detail-oriented, but with rapid growing business, she is overwhelmed and has no clear plan to execute her goal for her company. Despite this, she remains highly motivated and determined. One of her employees suggests an outreach program to ensure inclusivity, which involves hiring elderly interns. In a confused daze, Jules agrees and is shocked by the results to follow. Ben enters the elderly intern program and is matched with Jules' company and is paired with Jules as her personal intern. But she initially resists his efforts to assist her due to the stigmatized idea that Ben was older and could not keep up with her busy, rigorous schedule. She was unaware of the impact Ben would bring to her life. Ben continues to help around the office, and Jules begins to rely on him more and more, confiding in him and allowing him to take on additional tasks. As their relationship matures, Jules becomes a more effective leader, gaining greater pace and willpower to improve her company in a less chaotic manner. I will show 10 major themes depicted in this movie that directly correlate with the themes taught by industrial psychologists. The themes depicted in this movie are: I will highlight Jules' internal motivation, her business culture, being able to decipher strengths and weaknesses, describing and highlighting the importance of emotional intelligence and what it brings to the workplace, and her use of empathy to grow personally and professionally. We will also be looking at Jules' leadership style, relate the concept of the overwork culture, reiterate the theme of the effectiveness of communication, the impact of stress, and the act of listening. So Jules' motivation demonstrates an achievement-oriented motivation to success and work. One of the central themes observed in the movie relates to the content theory of motivation, which suggests that an individual is driven by 3 fundamental needs: achievement, affiliation, and power. This theory, as discussed by Black and Bright 2019 in an OpenStax article, is widely recognized in the field of organizational behavior and can be learned from a young age or taught to adults. Jules, as a young CEO portrayed in the film, exemplifies a form of motivation that is humbling, where motivation stems from overcoming challenging tasks, and executing them to the best of one's ability. She embodies the characteristics of a high achievement motive, which include a sense of personal responsibility for completing tasks, accepting praise for success, and blame for failure. Such individuals are receptive to feedback and constantly striving to improve. In the opening scenes of the movie, Jules takes a customer service call herself, despite her CEO status. She listens attentively as the customer complains about the wrong color and late delivery of dresses ordered for a wedding. Jules takes full responsibility for the mishap and resolves the issue and offers a full refund, even giving the customer her personal cell phone number to ensure the customer's satisfaction. This demonstrates Jules' commitment to understanding her business at a more personal level and making necessary changes to improve customer satisfaction. She acknowledges that taking such calls helps her stay in tune with the customers' experiences and achieve the best possible outcomes for her business. Shaping culture and practicing mindfulness. At the start of the film, Jules is overwhelmed and constantly on the move with the back-to-back meetings scheduled tightly together. Even her initial meeting with Ben was squeezed into a short 5-minute slot, scheduled for, I believe, 4:47 p.m. and expected to end at 4:51 p.m. As viewers, we witness her frenzied rush around the office, even biking from one end of the building to the other to maximize her efficiency. Jules has a strong desire to maintain control and ensure that her company stays true to her vision. A 2023 Harvard Business Review video by Linda Hill explains the critical components of successful leadership in the 21st century, with vision being the most important pillar of business success. The video highlights Jules' approach to creating her company, in which she prioritizes the ABCs of leadership. The first pillar is architecture, emphasizes the need for leaders to create a healthy environment that fosters employee collaboration and the expansions of ideas in an effective manner. Hill emphasizes that this is not just one individual who should carry all of the workload, aka Jules, but that leaders should entrust these employees with executing the vision by leveraging diverse viewpoints, varying expertise, and different levels of execution. This approach is referred to as collective genius, in which employees have the freedom to leverage their strengths in a supportive environment that enables them to excel in their work. Jules herself is very busy, but still finds herself appreciative of her staff. When Ben begins to win her over with his persistence, he cleans the office junk drawer, which is actually a catch-all table for old reports and old garments. He cleans the table and is rewarded with a massage from the office's masseuse for a good job well done. Throughout the movie, Ben is entrusted with more personal details about Jules' life and aids her again and again. By showing his support for her vision, Jules begins to entrust more heavy tasks to him, as well as other workers in the business. Ben is offering a mentorship to Jules, and she begins to trust him. She slowly solidifies her trust in him and begins to slow down her fast-paced work life. Unknowingly, he was promptly giving her a small mindfulness trick, which involves being present in the moment while simultaneously recognizing and processing one's own cognitive feelings and thoughts internally. Mindfulness is a therapeutic technique that allows individuals to view new stimuli as observers, processing the information in the best possible way and improving cognition. Culturally intelligent leaders who use mindfulness are open to new possibilities and perspectives, allowing them to receive new information even if it conflicts with their beliefs. A state of mindfulness can help create opportunities for growth and open up new avenues for success. She begins to feel alleviated of her prior stress and sees her company as still thriving. Ben's collaboration and mindfulness allowed her to see she did not need to be doing everything by herself. The third theme I established in the movie was identifying strengths and weaknesses. As individuals, we all have our own strengths and weaknesses and identify these on a personal level from a leadership perspective and from her own staff strengths and weaknesses to produce a more effective team environment and overall better product for her customers. With mindfulness and a clear vision, Jules knows what she needs to do to execute her business goals, but she is putting immense pressure on herself to do it all alone. With her business growing at such a rapid rate, Jules becomes overwhelmed with all she must oversee. With Ben's background of running a phone book production company back in the day, he knows he must teach her to trust her employees. She is trying to juggle too many tasks, and Ben unwillingly discovers her team has the merit to execute the task that Jules is desperately trying to accomplish by herself. An article produced by Elizabeth J. Vasquez in 2022 mentions that to be an effective leader means sharing responsibility. Seeking advice and expertise of your employees when necessary does not mean weakness. It actually stimulates and allows for more collaboration among employees. Being inclusive by giving responsibility to employees helps them feel invested in your vision of the company and creates engaging motivation through the workplace. There was one scene where Ben was becoming more hands-on and helping lighten Jules' workload. Jules asked her assistant to give Ben a data report, and the assistant cannot find the report, and she begins to cry and show copious amounts of stress, where Ben admittedly pulls the file off the top of her desk. The stressed out employee begins to cry and begins ranting about her degree and how she's actually really capable than how she really seems. She has never gotten the chance to really showcase Jules what she's really capable of. Ben realizes that she has wasted potential, and she is her personal scheduling assistant, scheduling appointments and meetings, but in fact, she has a degree from Penn State. Ben confronts Jules and casually mentions that her assistant has a degree from Penn State. She nods in understanding, and she knows that she can share the responsibility. Using her assistant expertise would relieve Jules of that one specific task and open her availability for more other pressing matters. By using her team's strengths to her company's advantage, her assistant could actually be deciphering these reports and directly reporting to Jules. The next theme I saw in the movie was emotional intelligence, and we're going to learn what it is and the impact it can bring on the workforce. Emotional intelligence is one of the most highly desired characteristics to have in any individual. With a competitive workforce, many individuals are compared among their peers, and the biggest distinguishment is the capability to apply emotional intelligence. Emotional intelligence is described by a Big Think article written by Crystal Hunter, produced in 2021, as facing challenges and how they personally overcame those challenges. Emotional intelligence refers to the ability to recognize and understand one's own emotions and those of others, and to use this knowledge to guide our thinking and behavior and direct it accordingly. It involves skills such as self-awareness, self-regulation, motivation, empathy, and social skills. Emotional intelligence can help individuals manage stress, build strong relationships, communicate effectively, and make sound decisions. It's considered an important trait for success in personal and professional settings. Emotional intelligence adheres to communication. When an individual practices emotional intelligence, we are internally working on a resolution to a problem. An emotionally intelligent employee could seek out assistance from other team members, asking for clarity or working in collaboration to resolve conflicts if they arise. Jules' office displays signs of emotional intelligence among her workers, where everyone was collaborative and friendly towards one another, celebrating birthdays in the meeting rooms, showcasing a relaxed atmosphere with no strict dress codes. Next, we're going to talk about empathy. This is the ability to understand and share the feelings of another person. It involves being able to put yourself in someone else's shoes and see things from their perspective, as well as recognizing and responding to their emotional state. Empathy can help build connections with others and can leave a leader more empathetic towards their needs on an individual basis. Ben reiterated the importance of trusting her employees and delegating tasks to alleviate Jules' psychological burden by promoting inclusivity in the workplace. By capitalizing on her team's strengths, Jules could create more time to focus on other projects and stabilize her business. Elizabeth J. Vasquez, in a 2022 article, suggests that leaders who allocate their time to help with minor tasks can actually motivate staff, establish clearer job expectations, and promote better communication in the future. By taking the time to help individual team members and building empathy, Jules could gain perspective and better understand the needs and contributions of her employees. In one memorable scene, Jules went out drinking with Ben and some of her colleagues, and she expressed her desire to not forget their names. When one of the men reminded her that he had literal coffee with her and her husband in her own kitchen, Jules displayed her humility and genuine interest in getting to know her employees on a more personal level. Jules is a natural leader at heart, and how she runs her company is clearly shown. Elizabeth J. Vasquez, in 2022 article about leadership, mentions leadership styles. Jules exemplifies charismatic leadership skills. She shows charismatic leadership with the idea to inspire and motivate her team with great social skills and infectious personality. Through her empathetic nature and close relationships with colleagues, she creates a positive work environment that enhances the morale and reputation of the company. Their dedication and passion for their work contributes to their leadership style, which is effective in injecting energy during challenging times. Another prevalent theme shown in the Intern was the idea of the overwork culture. Although Jules inflicts a happy workplace to her employees, she does not practice it herself. She chooses her work, and because of that, her personal life is struggling. She's a young CEO in Brooklyn, New York, and she's married and has a little girl, probably around the age of 5 years old. A video produced by Harvard Business Review on the cultures of overwork in 2020. In the 21st century, women especially face the struggle of the workforce because sometimes, especially as a CEO, Jewel faces choosing her family or her devotion to raising her child over the success of her business. However, her husband opted to stay at home and take care of their daughter because he saw what success her business was and did not want to make Jules give up her dream. For both men and women, they want to fulfill work ambitions and have a personal life as well. The overwork culture is this unrealistic standard that if we're going to work, you need to work all the time and be ready at all times. This forces tension. The need to work at a hard but constant, relentless 24/7 is not healthy for individuals and for their personal lives. The idea that we are trying to one-up our competitors and we may lose the opportunity to be the superstar. Thankfully, Jules shares the mental strain at work with her employees, and with Ben's help, she is able to refocus on her family and gives Jules more freedom to be there for her daughter and not miss those special bonding moments while she is still running her company. With effective team leadership, she alleviates her personal life, bridging the gap of personal and professional life. So communication, as mentioned in a lecture by Ashley Louise in 2023, I learned about the effectiveness of communication at work. Communication is the process of exchanging information, ideas, thoughts, or feelings between two or more individuals through various means, such as speech, writing, body language, or technology. Effective communication requires clear and concise language, active listening, feedback, and an understanding of the cultural and social context of the interaction. Good communication skills are essential in building relationships, resolving conflicts, and achieving common goals in both personal and professional settings. This is critical for leaders because it enables them to articulate their vision, goals, and expectations clearly to their team. Effective communication ensures that everyone in the team is on the same page and has a shared understanding of the direction of the organization. Leaders who communicate effectively can inspire, and motivate their team to work towards common goals and create a sense of belongingness and a shared purpose. Ben is a quiet individual and is very persistent and articulate with his words, versus Jules, who's constantly on her cell phone and computer trying to convey her ideas about a meeting or communicate with staff. Communication comes in all different forms. Ben makes Jules become more empathetic and present in her communication skills and provides a friendship, if not a mentorship. Jules can emotionally depend on Ben, and she effectively begins to do the same for her company and in her personal life. Effective communication can help build trust and rapport between team members and leaders, as well as personal relationships, and rekindle more fulfilling relationships. When team members feel that their leaders are transparent and honest in their communication, they are more likely to trust their intentions and feel supported. Additionally, when leaders communicate in a respectful and compassionate manner, they can foster positive relationships and create a sense of community within the team. The 9th theme I found in the movie was stress. Stress can have positive effects, such as stimulating new ideas, and is a common experience for people worldwide on a daily basis. However, excessive stress can be detrimental to one's well-being. According to an article by Ottawa and others published in 2023, stress in the body is the body's internal reaction to external stimuli. When we encounter such stimuli, our bodies produce the hormone cortisol, which can lead to symptoms such as elevated heart rate and muscle tension. If the stressful situation persists, stress can become chronic, leading to hyper state with no relaxation. The constant cycle of being overstimulated and not being able to cope can have adverse effects on the body, such as digestive issues, sleep problems, losing focus on daily tasks, and an overall decline in one's mental health. We see this exact scenario in the movie where Jules forgets to eat quite often, is in a constant state of stress, as evidenced by her inability to remember her daily tasks and consistent presence of the office at irregular hours. When Ben was driving Jules to an important meeting, she is very irritable and begins talking really fast and begins mentioning everything on her mind, and she randomly drums up that she definitely had not eaten that day. While he waited for her to get out of her meeting, Ben goes to a store and grabs her some fresh soup and gives it to her after her meeting. She's so preoccupied, she just gets in the car and quickly declines the food at first, and then gets a whiff of the soup. She scarfs it down, and the next scene, she's snoring in the back seat. He encourages her to slow down and take care of herself because she's running on very little sleep and little food. It's not healthy for her to continue on in her current state. Self-care and coping can look as simple as taking a nap when it's required instead of powering through, taking a snack. Take some time for yourself because nobody else is going to do it for you. The last theme I recognized in the movie, The Intern, is the art of listening. Simon Sinek produced a video in 2022 where he describes the art of listening. It's not just hearing what is spoken to you, but the act of processing what is actually being spoken to us and listening to what is being told. The art of listening involves the ability to give someone your full attention and focus to what they're saying without judgment or interruption. It involves not only hearing the words being spoken, but also understanding the meaning behind what is being said, the emotions that the speaker may be experiencing. Effective listening requires concentration, empathy, and patience. It is an important skill for building strong relationships, resolving conflicts, and gaining a better understanding of others. When you listen, you can demonstrate respect and create safe and supportive space for others to share their thoughts and feelings. Being able to express their feelings or thoughts without judgment allows for an individual to feel heard and understood. In the movie, the theme of listening with intent is shown through the character of Ben. He's an excellent listener and observes the young professionals around him to understand their needs, desires, and frustration. He often uses his observations to provide thoughtful and supportive advice. For example, in one scene, Jules is struggling with a personal issue, and Ben senses that she needs someone to talk to. He listens attentively to her concerns, offers his support, and gives her advice based on his own experiences. The act of listening with intent helps Jules gain perspective and feels supported. Throughout the movie, Ben's character highlights the importance of listening with intent and how it can lead to better understanding of others and makes everybody feel more included. Thank you for listening, and I've listed all my references. Any questions, email me.